Hello, I'm Elsa. Do you like stories? I love stories. My mother used to tell me and Anna so many stories, especially magical ones. Would you like to hear one? I've got a collection of magical stories here. Let's read one. How about... Aha! The Little Boy's Secret. You know, I know all about secrets. I used to hide my powers. Not anymore. But anyways, let's get into the story. One day, a little boy left school early because he had a secret to tell his mother. He was in a hurry to get home, so he took a shortcut through some woods where 3 terrible giants lived. He hadn't gone far before he met one of them standing in the path. When the giant saw the little boy, he put his hands on his hips and he roared, "What are you doing here, boy? Don't you know whose woods these are?" "I'm on my way home," answered the little boy. "I have a secret to tell my mother." That made the giant furious. "Secret?" he bellowed. "What secret?" "I can't tell you," said the little boy, "or it wouldn't be a secret anymore." "Then I'm taking you to our castle," said the giant. Stooping down, he picked up the little boy and popped it into his shirt pocket. Before long, the first giant met a second giant who was twice as big, 3 times as ugly, and 4 times as fierce. "What's that in your pocket?" he asked the first giant. "A boy," he answered. "Says he has a secret that he won't tell us." When the second giant heard this, he laughed. "Won't tell us, huh? Well, we'll see about that. To the castle with him." The giants thumped on down the path. In a short time, they came to a huge stone castle beside a muddy river. At the door, they met a third giant who was 5 times bigger, 6 times uglier, and 7 times fiercer than the second giant. "What's that in your pocket?" asked the first giant. "A boy." "A boy? Well, well, well. He says he has a secret he won't tell us," said the first giant again. When the third giant heard that, he laughed a terrible laugh. "He won't tell us, eh? Well, we'll see that. Off to the table with him." The first giant took the little boy from his pocket and set him on the kitchen table. Then all 3 giants gathered around and peered down at the boy. The little boy looked at the first giant. He looked at the second giant. He looked at the third giant. They were truly enormous and dreadful to behold. "Well," said the first giant. "We're waiting," said the second. "I'll count to 3, said the third giant. 1, 2... "Oh, all right," said the boy. "I suppose I can tell you. But if you do, you must not tell anybody. It's a secret, you know." "We promise," answered all the giants, but they all winked sly winks at each other. The little boy turned to the first giant. "Bend down," he said. When the giant bent down, the boy whispered into his ear. When the giant heard the secret, he leaped up from the table. His knees started shaking. His tongue hung out. "Oh no!" he shouted. "That's a terrible secret!" And he dashed from the castle, ran deep into the woods, and climbed to the top of a tall tree. He didn't come down for 3 days. The second giant scowled at the little boy. "What's wrong with that giant?" he asked. "Never mind," said the boy. "Just bend down." The giant leaned down and the little boy stood up on tiptoes and whispered into his ear. When the giant heard his secret, he leaped up so fast that he knocked his chair over. His eyes rolled, his ears twitched. "Let me get away," he roared, and he raced from the castle, ran over the hills, and crawled into the deepest, darkest cave he could find. The third giant frowned. "What's wrong with them?" "Never mind," said the little boy. "Just bend down." The giant leaned down and the little boy climbed onto a teacup and whispered into his ear. When the giant heard the secret, he jumped up so fast that he ripped the seat off his trousers. His teeth chattered, his hair stood up. "Help!" he cried. "Help!" And he dashed from the castle and dived head first into the muddy river. The castle door had been left open, and since the giants had promised the little boy that he could go, he walked out and went home. At last he was able to tell his mother his secret, but she didn't yell and run away. She just put him to bed and gave him some supper. The next morning, when the little boy woke up, he was covered from head to toe with bright red spots. "Now I can tell everybody what my secret was," said the boy. "My secret was, I'm getting the measles." Wow. So the giants were scared of the boy because he had measles. What a terrible secret to have. But I'm happy the mother put him to bed and gave him some supper. Oh, what a clever little boy. I hope you enjoyed my story, and maybe we can read some more another time.